This small rural community has been torn apart at the seams by an eater of worlds. A man whose insatiable obsession with violence destroyed a whole city. His identity has eluded investigators for more than 4 years, in spite of a $325,000 reward fund, dozens of multi-state agencies assisting the case, and over 30,000 tips and leads.
To the killer, who may be in this room, we believe you are hiding in plain sight. We know that this is about power to you, and you want to know what we know. And one day, you will.
Given the variables in this case and the unanswered questions left by law enforcement pertaining to the evidence, a timeline is difficult to establish perfectly. There is, however, a well-founded and solid series of events that are generally accepted as the unofficial story. The following is a presentation of these points with our investigative findings.
It was a mild February morning in Delphi, Indiana. Best friends Liberty German and Abigail Williams had a sleepover at the home of Mike and Becky Patty. Derek, Liberty's father, Becky's son, made them chocolate chip pancakes. Who would have thought this was their final ever meal, and that this quaint town was about to be shaken to its knees? Shortly after 1:30 p.m., Kelsey, Liberty's sister, drove the girls to the Monon High Bridge Trail. At a small lot off of Highway West 300 North, both girls exited Kelsey's vehicle dressed lightly. Little did they all know that it's likely that in this moment, he was watching them from a distance, mapping out crucial sinister plans.
We have received information that states that there were 4 girls that got to the trails around 1:30 p.m. on February 13th. We've been made aware of the names of 2 of those girls, but will not release them due to them being underage at the time. It is said that the girls parked at the lot at the beginning of Freedom Bridge, and after crossing Freedom Bridge, 2 of the 4 girls saw the suspect entering the trails. One girl is said to have gotten a particularly good look at him. She was able to later describe him to members of law enforcement as wearing a scarf covering his lower mouth, a blue jacket, and blue jeans. Officials knew at this point that she had seen who they were interested in, seeing as she had not seen the video or image Libby took on her phone of the suspect. By parking at the CPS lot, he had a clear view of both ends of Freedom Bridge as well as whoever was entering the trails. At approximately 1:30 p.m. on February 13th, Kelsey dropped Abby and Libby off at the Mears lot. The girls walked the short pathway from the lot to the nature preserve sign and began walking the 505 trail towards the bridge. It's imperative we now take a moment to say that, beginning here, little is known about the sequence of events leading up to the girls' first encounter with the suspect. We can merely speculate given the little context clues we have. Here's what we do know. Libby uploaded 2 photos to Snapchat somewhere in the vicinity of 2:05 to 2:07 p.m. 2:05 being the picture she took towards the south end of the bridge, and 2:07 being the picture of Abby with the north end of the bridge behind her. We do not see the suspect in either photo. That being said, it is probable that Bridge Guy was not yet on the bridge at this time. Somewhere around 2:30 p.m., the girls reached the south end of the bridge. At this point, Libby and Abby have seen the suspect and are filming him walking towards them. The video shows him walking in the direction of the south end of the bridge. Many theories have been proposed from which end of the bridge the suspect originally approached them from. But we at Crime Dive really only see 2 possible scenarios. We believe he either approached the girls by entering the bridge from the north side, making himself a barrier between them and the way out, perhaps walking unnecessarily fast, thus alarming the girls and causing them to film. The other possibility being the suspect walking ahead of them on the trails and across the bridge in front of them. possibly hiding under the bridge on the south side on the ATV path below. And when the girls reached the south end of the bridge, he may have emerged from hiding, barreled past them about 70 feet towards the north side to ensure no one else was on the bridge at the time, and then turned around to come back towards them. This behavior also would be very alarming and provide a cause for them filming. It is likely that the suspect parked at the CPS lot, which is on the same side of the highway as the trail system is, in order to later make an escape through the graveyard and possibly down West 300 North. We believe that the graveyard is where BH, the person who we believe is ultimately responsible for the second sketch, saw the suspect emerge from the woods after the crime was committed. His disguise had been shed. It has been said that BH was working as a mole exterminator in the graveyard at the time. Another possibility is that BH, while at the Hoosier Harvest store gathering supplies for his job, saw the suspect walking down West 300 North back towards his car parked at the CPS lot. Understatement of the decade, we would all like to know the suspect's reason for this crime. Next to the identity of Bridge Guy, it's the most pressing question. The possibility of this being a sexually motivated murder wherein there's no presence of rape is highly possible. The act of murder may have been salacious enough to satisfy this sicko. Another widely discussed theory was that this was a revenge kill. However, we don't have enough concrete context or evidence ourselves to substantiate the validity of this scenario. To add to this, we all have our opinions of whether this was a targeted case where the girls were catfished and lured into a trap over time, or was it a random act of violence where the suspect set out to kill that day and Abby and Libby were just wrong place, wrong time. To speak on the catfish theory, members of the family have expressed to us that a factory reset was done on Libby's phone several days before the murders due to a software malfunction that was slowing her phone down. It's easy to speculate on this topic and jump to baseless conclusions that perhaps she was made to reset her phone for nefarious reasons, but again, there is zero proof of this. Is it possible that they were catfished? Absolutely, but we as the general public have no proof of this so far. Also, the closest thing to proof that we here at Crime Dive have is statements from the family, and the family do not believe that this was a catfish.
After all of this time, I think it's safe to say that whatever leads the police feel they had in 2019, that they have once again screwed this up. I want to remain optimistic, but with the level of corruption in Carroll County since just before Shane Evans became mayor, I've began to lose faith in their abilities. For one, the city real estate scam from 2015 in which they were outright caught forging council approval documents to buy and sell land. I mean, what the hell? Indiana State Police investigators swept that one under the rug. Then you have the $1.2 million in approved state funds to repair the trails and the bridge after the murders. It's been over 4 years and not a board has been repaired, but the money has been taken. Oh, and let's not forget the additional hundreds of thousands of dollars that the McCains have raised to repair the bridge too. Not a cent has ever been spent to fix or support the trails. Then you have the fact that Carroll County has an abnormal amount of homicides, suspicious deaths, arsons, even suicides, many under suspicious circumstances. These simply do not feel right to us. You have officials caught red-handed in these strange scandals. You have odd behaviors by elected officials. And lastly, an unqualified 21-year-old coroner at the time of the murders. And a mayor who always wanted to be a cop. It makes me wonder if these guys truly have the chops to wrangle with a big fish like the bridge guy. In closing, I think that it's time that federal investigators look into why this and other crimes aren't being solved in Carroll County. It's also time for Governor Holcomb to either step up or step out. He needs to investigate why all these funds, taxpayers' hard-earned dollars, are being funneled into Carroll County and not being used properly. No matter how you cut it, it looks extremely bad to anyone who examines the evidence of their misdeeds. And we as a group will always support the victims of this crime. We will continue to work to find the killer of these two bright and beautiful girls who surely deserve to live a happy life. If you or someone you know has information about this crime, please call investigators and give over a tip. Thank you for watching.